The profession of a stunt double is one of the most dangerous in the entertainment world. These professionals live on the edge, performing radical maneuvers and action scenes that leave anyone open-mouthed. But behind the adrenaline, the reality can be much darker. Even with all the training and skill, many stunt doubles have lost their lives in unexpected tragedies while on the job. Over the years, some stunt double deaths have become famous, painfully marking the history of cinema. Those are the stunt doubles you will get to know today. You know those folks who risk their lives to make movies more exciting? Well, sometimes it ends tragically. One of the most unsettling cases was that of A.J. Baccanis, a stunt double who wanted to make history in 1979 during the filming of Steel. He decided to try to break the world record for jumping off a building, leaping from an absurd height of 90 meters. It was meant to be epic, but it turned into a tragedy. The idea was simple, or maybe not so much. He would jump from the building, and a gigantic airbag on the ground would cushion his fall, except something went terribly wrong. When Baccanis hit the ground, the airbag did not function as it should have. The impact was brutal, and he died on the spot. To make matters worse, this all happened before a crowd of people who had come to watch the feat live. Can you imagine the horror of seeing that up close? AJ was known for his courage and had already performed other dangerous jumps in his career, but this one proved fatal. His death shocked both the industry and the public, showing how risky the life of those working behind the scenes of action can be. Despite all the preparation, the accident exposed safety flaws that unfortunately still cost lives in this field. Art Scholl was a legendary aerobatic pilot, known for performing incredible maneuvers in the sky. He was hired to work on Top Gun, 1986, that classic filled with breathtaking aerial scenes. His job was exactly that, to film aerial footage that would make the scenes even more spectacular. But during one of those shoots, the unexpected happened. Scholl was at the controls of his plane, a Pitts S-2, trying to execute a maneuver called a flat spin. The idea was to simulate a controlled spin, something he was a master at, but this time, something went wrong. Mid-flight, Scholl reported over the radio that he had lost control of the aircraft. His last words were, "I have a problem here." Shortly afterward, the plane went down into the Pacific Ocean, taking Scholl with it. Despite intensive searches, neither the pilot nor the wreckage of the aircraft has ever been found. What exactly caused the accident remains a mystery. Some say it may have been a mechanical failure, while others suggest weather conditions or even the weight of the filming equipment installed on the plane may have contributed. He was a master of what he did, and his legacy as a pilot and stunt double lives on. Harry O'Connor was an experienced stunt double, used to performing the most insane scenes in cinema. He was working on XXX 2002, that adrenaline-packed movie starring Vin Diesel, and was in charge of one of the most challenging scenes, parasailing down from a giant bridge. It was meant to be epic, but things went terribly wrong. In the sequence, O'Connor needed to make a controlled descent while the cameras were rolling, but during the maneuver he lost control and crashed at high speed into the bridge's structure. The impact was fatal, and Harry died instantly, leaving the set in shock. What is most disturbing is that even after the accident, the production decided to keep one of the earlier takes of that same scene in the final version of the film. In other words, the audience watched a moment that was literally Harry's last great feat in cinema. Sonia Davis was a dedicated, fearless stunt double, and in 1995 she was on the set of Vampire in Brooklyn, a film starring Eddie Murphy and Angela Bassett. During one of the shoots, Sonia was assigned a scene that involved a 13-meter fall. No easy task, but something she already had experience doing. The plan was simple. She would jump from a building, and a giant airbag on the ground would cushion her fall. But at the crucial moment, something went horribly wrong. The airbag, which should have been placed precisely to protect her, was positioned incorrectly. When Sonia jumped, the impact ended up being directly on the ground. She suffered fatal injuries and did not survive. To make matters worse, Sonia's mother and sister were on set, watching the scene live. Can you imagine their shock and despair, seeing it all happen right before their eyes? It was a terrible situation that left the film's cast and crew utterly devastated. Despite all the planning and advanced equipment, human error came at an enormously high price. Joy Harris was a stunt double specialized in motorcycles, and in 2018, she was working on the filming of Deadpool 2. She faced the challenge of performing a high-speed scene typical of the film's frenetic style, where Deadpool, played by Ryan Reynolds, gets into trouble. The idea was simple. She was supposed to perform a motorcycle maneuver in the midst of an action sequence. During filming, Joy lost control of the bike while traveling at an impressive speed. She collided with a glass window, which did not shatter as it was meant to, and the impact was fatal. The accident happened very quickly. quickly. The most disturbing aspect of this tragedy was the information that surfaced afterward, indicating that Joy did not have the necessary experience to perform such a high-risk scene. She had a successful career as a racer, but lacked the background of a professional stunt double, sparking much controversy. Many people questioned the set's safety practices and whether she should have been performing such a dangerous maneuver without the proper experience. During the filming of Resident Evil: The Final Chapter, stunt double Olivia Jackson faced one of the most terrifying moments of her career. She was filming a motorcycle chase scene that required speed and quick maneuvers. Midway through shooting, Jackson collided with a camera crane that, for some reason, was not moved in time. The impact was severe, and although she survived, the damage was extensive. The crash caused injuries so serious that she had to have her arm amputated, and that was not all. Besides losing part of her arm, Jackson also suffered irreversible injuries that affected her quality of life and career. The accident was devastating for her, but it was not the only tragic incident on set. Unfortunately, another stunt double was killed in a separate but equally fatal accident during the same production. In Jackson's case, what might have been a simple chase turned into a nightmare that changed her life forever. Paul Mantz was one of the most experienced stunt pilots of his time, and in 1965 he was working on The Flight of the Phoenix. He was piloting a plane for one of the film's most intense scenes, which involved a very risky aerial maneuver. Everything seemed to be going well until the moment he miscalculated the maneuver and lost control of the aircraft. The scene required the plane to perform a complicated stunt, but something went wrong mid-flight. Instead of completing the maneuver safely, Mantz crashed the plane into the ground. The impact was so severe that he died instantly. Mantz was highly respected for his skill, and even with all the preparation and experience, he miscalculated and died doing what he loved most. In 1969, the film Shark stirred up a controversy that still makes many people uncomfortable. In the movie, there is a scene where a man, dressed in a diving suit, is attacked by a large shark. The scene is brutal. We see blood, hear his screams, and watch the moment he dies. What many do not know is that during filming, what looked like fiction was actually a real tragedy. For more than 50 years, it has been said that stunt double Jose Marco, known for being Burt Reynolds' stunt double, truly died during the shoot. And the worst part is that the production decided to keep that moment in the film and even used it to promote the movie, profiting from the accident. A 1969 edition of Life magazine published a detailed article on the tragedy. The text described how Jose Marco was attacked by a bull shark during a scene in Mexico. The shark was forced to swim toward the stunt double, and what followed was horrific. The shark tore open Marco's abdomen, and despite the team's attempts to drive it away, the stunt double was fatally injured. He died 2 hours later in a hospital. The most disturbing part was that instead of stopping production, the scene was left in the film's final cut. The movie ended up changing its name and used the accident to gain notoriety, with posters proclaiming, "A shark will tear you apart." Marco's real death was turned into a sad spectacle to attract a bigger audience, marking one of the most shocking and disrespectful stories in the film industry. Dar Robinson was one of the most respected stunt doubles of his day. Known for his skill, courage, and precision in extremely dangerous scenes, he had performed several radical stunts in films and always walked away unscathed, making him a true icon in the movie world. In 1986, he was filming Million Dollar Mystery, where he was going to perform a motorcycle stunt. Apparently, it was something simple, with no major risks, since Robinson was a master at such maneuvers. But during filming, something went wrong. Robinson was riding the motorcycle at high speed, as he usually did, when he suddenly lost control. The bike slipped and he ended up crashing, suffering a fatal impact. Unfortunately, he did not survive the injuries and died on the spot. The most shocking thing was that a stunt which seemed simple and harmless turned out to be deadly for such an experienced stunt double. The tragedy took everyone by surprise. Robinson had already done breathtaking stunts in films like The Terminator and Game of Death, and that kind of maneuver had never been a problem for him. But in this case, fate struck with something that appeared harmless at first glance. Alf Joint was a highly respected British stunt double, known for his talent in dangerous scenes. In 1977, he was filming A Bridge Too Far, a war epic in which he needed to perform a fall from a building. The scene, which seemed to be just another one of the many Alf excelled at, ended in tragedy. During filming, Alf fell from a considerable height. The impact was fatal, and although some co-workers believed he may have suffered a sudden illness before the fall, there was no confirmation of what truly happened. What was clear is that it was a terrible accident, and Alf's death shocked everyone, especially because he was already so experienced in risky scenes. The most disturbing aspect of this tragedy is that, being such an experienced and skilled stunt double, everyone expected him to know exactly how to protect himself in dangerous situations. Even so, that accident, possibly triggered by something completely unforeseen such as feeling unwell, claimed the life of one of the best in the profession. Ken Carter was a Canadian stunt double who became famous for his daring attempts to pull off epic jumps, always pushing adrenaline to the limit. In 1980, he was trying to perform one of the most ambitious jumps of his career, driving a car over a river. He intended to reach an impressive distance, but the ramp that was designed for the jump turned out to be a disaster. During filming, Carter prepared to make the jump, but what was supposed to be an incredible maneuver turned into a catastrophe. The ramp was poorly built and not at the correct angle, causing Carter to fall short of the planned distance. Unfortunately, he did not survive. Known for pulling off radical stunts and never fearing the risks, this mistake cost him his life. The most disturbing part of this accident was that Carter believed the jump was possible, but the ramp's failure proved fatal. No matter how prepared and experienced a stunt double might be, there is always a chance that something will go wrong. Carter was used to dangerous maneuvers, but that miscalculation on the ramp ended up costing him his life. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.